Now, the big question is, did Chris use my sensual mouth sounds for the intro to Wonder Woman, or is he using them right now? I don't know.
It'd probably be an outro, to be honest with you.
It's not a bird, it's not a plane, it's Superhero Slate. It's a modern podcast where we talk about everything that's great, like movies, TV, superheroes. It's Superhero Slate. Oh yeah.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Superhero Slate, the show where we run down the latest superhero entertainment news.
We love TV, movies, and superheroes, so let's talk it all out.
My name is Chris Dillard.
And my name is Mike Royer.
And this week, we're reviewing Wonder Woman 1984 and Pixar's Soul.
What a double feature.
Double featured at the drive-in to your own house and watch them there. That's how cool it is.
Watch it in your garage.
That's
but don't
right.
close the garage door if you're leaving your car running.
Well, just watch on, put your iPad on the screen, maybe. You can do that.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. HBO Max gains a ton of animated shows next year in January. You're going to love it, Mike. You're going to love it. We're saving up our money to buy MGM ourselves.
Oh, I forgot about that news earlier this week. Yeah.
Right.
This is the third time we've done the show intro. We just recorded our Wonder Woman review, our Soul review. I thought we weren't going to have a whole lot to talk about news this week, but we got a little bit, so we're going to be talking about some news.
I stretched it out a little bit, but after we did it for 3 times, I'm like, we should change our intro for the reviews because we're not really doing any news.
People need consistency now more than ever, Chris.
Yeah, they're probably like, I'm tired of that fucking intro. I'm using the 30-second skip button. I do that a lot more than I admit. So I'm going to go ahead and get this out. I have a Perrier I'm going to open up here because it's going to hiss. There it goes. Okay, perfect.
That's some good tape. You're adding a little bit of a texture to the podcast.
It's the spicy water of life, if you will. I love me some carbonated water. This has got a little bit of minerals in it, but carbonated water is my go-to. But I need to have it. We're on our 3rd show. I need some beverages here to keep hydrated. So I did want to say. I wanted to go over real quick the biggest news of this year. I wrote down 3 things for this year that I think are the biggest news. And to me, I think the biggest thing of this year is to go forward, we must go back. And it came down to 3 big things here, Mike. And you tell me what you think. One is Sam Raimi coming to Marvel for Doctor Strange.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Before we had all of this other Spider-Man news, that was really big breaking news.
And he's not doing Spider-Man. That's the best of it. Michael Keaton returning as Batman for the Flashpoint.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I remember that weekend. That was crazy.
Yeah. And lastly, literally, we're getting a Spider-Verse in Spider-Man 3. Like every Spider-Man. Have you been Spider-Man? Were you in a Spider-Man movie? Did he steal your pizza? You're coming back for Spider-Man 3.
Yeah. I could agree with those. Were pretty big singular moments for this year with the news. I mean, it's hard. It almost feels like cheating to say Disney Investor Day because that was just so much. But that was a pretty pivotal moment. This is the first time I felt like I was at a Comic-Con in a really long time. But yeah, I mean, it was crazy. We were talking about, oh man, the Flash is going to be doing this like extended universe, and then Spider-Man stepping up to the plate. Even Doctor Strange and the multiverse. I feel like the big theme for 2020, I mean, if you had to narrow it down to our podcast and not really thinking about pandemic wise, but like was waiting and uncertainty. Yeah. We didn't know things when they were going to come out, when they weren't going to come out, when we were going to get them. So, we've just been sitting here all year just trying to figure this out with you along the way. But I was still glad that even in a year when Hollywood has kind of really come to a screeching halt, production-wise, we still got really fun stuff to talk about all year.
Oh yeah, I mean the news never. I think even sometimes like, well, how are we going to get news this week? Even then, it didn't really slow down for us, which has been great. So I think we got lots of news. Again, like I said, I don't want to minimize any other big large events of 2020, but like the individual news that came out throughout the year. Like I look to these 3 as like, okay, hey, we know that embracing the stuff we've done before isn't bad anymore, so we can put it into these new things. So if anyone else has any big news that really brought them, like that sticks out for this year, if you can think back all the way to January when we thought we were going to be going to the theater all year, let us know.
And if you're curious, our website, this isn't even a plug, but our website is a really good resource because we put all of our show notes up on the website, and all you have to do is go to the show notes and you can look at like everything that hit the news that week for like superhero stuff. So it's actually a nice little crystal ball because since we're just hyper focused on superhero stuff in podcast form, like if you go to other like news websites, you're gonna have to filter through a lot of other stuff like opinion articles and all these other things. It's like we focus just on the here and the now. So our website's a nice little time capsule. If you're just like, whoa, wait, that happened back in February. Wait, what? How is the year gone? So yeah, that's fun.
Yeah, it's just been crazy to think. We thought we were going to watch a lot of movies this year, and no, we're not. We didn't at all. But we got to watch 2 of them. We'll talk about those here in a minute. But Mike, this has been Christmas week. I mean, if you celebrate Christmas or the holidays, we just went through it, Mike. Thankfully, everyone was safe and had a good time and was still able to see or talk to your loved ones and had a good Christmas. I mean, I feel pretty blessed in mine, Mike. I was pretty lucky. People got me some cool stuff. I didn't get to tell you, but I got remember, I think it was 2 years ago, I got the Avengers Infinity War art book. So this year I got the other one from the same in-laws. They were like, here's the in-game art book. So I've got these really cool thick-ass hardcover art books from the latest Marvel movies, which are absolutely sick to go through. And as you know, you're an artist yourself, Mike. You probably appreciate some of that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, one of the few things I collect is art books. So yeah, I totally appreciate that.
Like I want to take them into work and put them on my coffee table at work, or like the side tables. Like, have a seat, look at this cool stuff that I really enjoy before it's finalized. So thoroughly enjoyed that, Mike. So what else have you been doing?
Yeah, well, we can roll this right into the QuaranStream. Once you start to get a little bit older, when you become like a real full-fledged adult with responsibilities and earned income, it's hard to recommend gifts for people to get you, right? You have everything you need. You actually don't want any more junk in your house anymore. Like, stop giving me stuff, people. I got everything I need. You're just giving me stuff to do. You're giving me spring cleaning stuff that I have to organize through in a couple of months. So one thing that's really good to ask for people, from my point of view, is maybe video games you missed out on throughout the year, right? You're busy doing other things, playing other stuff. You never got around to it. So I received the gift of Ghosts of Tsushima over the holidays. So I loaded that up on the PS4, the old gen console, if you will. I'm sure the game plays just as beautifully on PS5, if not better. But I'm not very far into it, but I want to say like maybe I'm just past the kind of tutorial phase into the open world map, if you will. And I'm having a really great time. It's just a really beautiful game. It gives me very similar Sekiro vibes.
I get those two confused quite a bit in my mind.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's a samurai game that's really popular. Which one is it?
Yeah, exactly. This one seems a little bit more user friendly, if you will. Like Sekiro was a FromSoft game, and the fun is in being brutalized. And at least at the very beginning of this game, it does have a little bit of a challenge to it, but it's less oppressive, and so I'm having fun. And just some really nice magical things have happened. So I've decided to explore the map a little bit before really jumping back into the story. So I'm just like walking through these lush like Japanese landscapes, and I walk up to this like little fox den, and this fox is like jumping around, and there's no prompts on the screen to tell me what to do, but I noticed that this fox is kind of jumping around and kind of pointing in one direction. So I start to follow the fox, and I start to slowly realize, oh, he's leading me somewhere. Where is he going? He's moving just as fast as I can run, so I'm following behind him. He starts climbing up this cliff. I'm like, oh, he's taking me somewhere. Then all of a sudden I find like this little kind of like fox shrine, and I like do like a little like prayer gesture in front of it, and I unlock like something for my character. I don't remember exactly what it was. So I'm like, oh, this was fun. Just a nice little magical moment. No prompts, no UI on the screen telling me what to do. And then it happens to me again maybe about an hour later, where I'm like, okay, I've kind of finished up my little side missions. I want to head back to the village, and just before I get to the entrance of the village, I kind of see this very beautiful like kind of eagle kind of like flying, and I'm just like, well, wait a minute, this seems a little out of place. I've seen some wildlife, but this one seems a little bit more colorful than maybe some of the other ones. And I noticed like, oh, it's not just flying haphazardly like an AI. Like, it seems to be leading me somewhere. I'm like, oh, it's like the fox all over again. So I lose sight of the eagle for a moment, but I see like and I'm from this rock face, so I start climbing the rock wall, and then I find this other type of like shrine type of experience. So like I'm just having like these nice little magical moments where nothing about Sekiro is magical. It's just brutal, and you die twice. It's the subtitle of so they're totally different games, but it's just a different samurai experience. So there's a fun like rock paper scissors element to it when like you're fighting people. You got to pick the dodge, the block, the parry, the strike at the right time. But I'm just having a lot of fun. The acting in it is really, really good. This seems more of like a new game plus option, but there's a Kurosawa filter that you can add to it, where everything goes black and white, and there's like a grain filter over it. So that looks like it'll be fun for replay value.
Photo mode is like the biggest thing in video games for 2020.
Oh yeah, and it does have a photo mode, just kind of like the Spider-Man games have as well. So all I can say at the beginning of it is I'm having a really, really fun, beautiful time. It looks really great. So
what I'd like to see from this game is like the old Duck Hunt, where the second player gets to control these wild animals for you. And you have to follow them, and you're like, are they taking me to the right place or the wrong place?
What's going on? Hey, I'm being punked here. Someone's invading my game from soft style. Oh, no, it's secure all over again.
Oh, no.
But, yeah, I'm having a great time. I've barely touched the tip of the iceberg, so who knows? I could be talking about this game in the QuaranStream for months to come. But one thing I dabbled in just recently, because I had a little bit of time to kill, is I've noticed some people online have been talking about these anime Marvel stuff that's on Netflix. And I was like, wow, this stuff sounds familiar. I feel like Chris has talked about this on the show before.
I own all of these on DVD within 2 feet behind me. I can pull them off the shelf.
Yeah, so this is just the direct power of Netflix, because these must have just been recently added to Netflix for these to be popping up in the zeitgeist again, because I believe these are dated as like 2011. These are not new.
It was 2011. It was 2010 actually. I remember it was like my first paid internship that summer, like whenever I remember this. And they came out on Amazon, and Amazon was like starting to do like 2-day delivery on this stuff. So I was able to buy them on Amazon over like a couple months.
God, it just seems like another like a decade ago.
It feels
like
very
time, right?
It feels very specific to this. I don't know why I remember these exactly, but it was like when I started growing my like, this is not the MCU Marvel collection, but like this is like Marvel trying to do other stuff collection.
Yeah. So I don't know the full repertoire of how many things they have anime-ized, if you will. But I believe, at least on Netflix, there is the X-Men, and there's also a standalone Wolverine one.
Yes.
So I don't know if there's more than that on Netflix.
There's
right now.
Iron Man. Well, there's also Blade and Iron Man are the other two.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Blade is probably to me, I think the best one, because it doesn't anime fits Blade very well. But yeah, go ahead and continue. I'm sorry. Those are the 4.
Yeah, but I watched just one episode of the anime X-Men version, and it was fun. It was interesting, to say the least, right? Because this is a very hard anime style. They definitely just had a Japanese anime studio just go whole hog and just make, anime X-Men, right? All of these characters have these like extremely dark, like graphic style shadows over their face. I love the voice actor that they picked for Wolverine. It's the guy who did Spike Spiegel from Cowboy Bebop. He was also in Samurai Champloo. He's done a lot of anime stuff, so it's nice to hear that familiar voice. All the characters seem very true to how we are familiar with them over here in the West. They're just in a very graphic anime style, right? I thought it was funny that the story that they set up in the first episode was about a girl from Japan. So obviously we got to bring these Western characters over here to Japan so we can connect with them a little bit more here with our anime studio. So I just thought that was fun. I like how they don't hold your hand either. Like the very first episode starts right off with Jean Grey as Phoenix, right? And not only is she Phoenix, she's like destroying stuff in the opening scene, and they don't even really trail back on that much to explain it. They just assume that you're a Marvel fan. If you're watching this, you probably have some sort of knowledge of what the Phoenix is, so we're just not going to hold your hand. So I don't really know exactly how this is going to evolve. I think there's not more than maybe 8-10 episodes. You might have a better idea of how many episodes there actually are, but there's not.
I think they're like 6 maybe.
Yeah, I don't think it's a lengthy catalog. I mean, if these came out in 2011, I don't think there's multiple seasons of it. It just kind of seems like this one-time off experiment. It seems like somebody at Marvel was just like, hey, anime is really popular right now. Let's loan some of our anime IP out to some studios and see what they bring back. So I don't know if we'll be seeing more of this at any time soon, but it's a nice little experiment. Check it out.
It was 12 episodes each, and they all came out within a year. So I don't. I mean, this was Jeff Loeb era, I think, pretty thing. And if I remember correctly, I don't think the voice actor for Wolverine is who you think it is.
Are you sure?
Because it's the guy who was in Heroes, the main guy in Heroes, who's also in Gilmore Girls, and This Is Us, Milo Ventimiglia.
Maybe the voice actor for the Wolverine standalone series is different from the Wolverine that's in X-Men, because I'm almost positive that it's the same guy.
I'd look into it because you said you watched X-Men.
Yes.
Oh, so Steve Blum then, probably.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, the Wolverine standalone has a different voice cast, which is weird.
Gotcha.
So, because that one's those. I don't mind anime, but man, those are some weird shows. I'm gonna be honest with you. So that's good. You had a good time.
It's a very abrasive style. That's like It's funny sometimes the style doesn't always match the tone of the scene. Like there's a scene where Xavier is supposed to be like emotionally confronting like a child, but they do this very dark, menacing shadow over his bald head, and it looks like he's gonna squeeze the child's brains out. Like it's just like, no, you're supposed to be comforting him, not looking like a terrifying monster. So I guess that's just kind of the aesthetic of the anime in that scene. But it's more of like a PSA, knowing that there's a bunch of Marvel anime crap over on Netflix right now. If you're trying to find some value out of your Netflix subscription, go check it out.
Yeah, there's also the Iron Man one, and the Iron Man one actually had a movie spinoff called The Rise of Technovore, which it's got the same art style. I don't know if it's the same story, but it spins out of there. And then there's actually a really good animated movie following those called Punisher and Black Widow. Something confidential, which is actually really good. I recommend that too, done in an anime style. So I recommend that. I'm gonna flip flop here. I did a video game this week. I actually picked up Vader Immortal on VR for PlayStation VR. Have you played these yet?
No, but I am familiar.
So $20 gets you 3 episodes. I beat the first episode in maybe 30 minutes. Like they're very short episodes for VR, like the story mode. But you don't do it for the story mode. You do it for the lightsaber dojo, Mike. You go in and you have a lightsaber, and you go through waves, and they have like the first episode, I guess, has the little training balls they use on Luke in New Hope. So you have those firing lasers at you, so you have to deflect them back at them to destroy them. And then they also have like these lightsaber training droids around you. So it is if you like lightsabers, which I know you do, Mike, Vader Immortal VR really makes you feel like a Jedi in there with just a lightsaber. Now, I think in episode 2 or 3, you actually start to get force powers that you can use as well. So like the dojos in each one get more advanced, but I unlocked different kyber crystals and hilts and stuff like that. So I think it's pretty fun, Mike. I'd recommend it if you're looking for a VR experience. Cool. That's pretty affordable. And lastly, in the same relation with that, we talked a little bit about the Dog Day Afternoon short for the Star Wars Detours, right? I watched that with my wife the other day. She's like, what is this? I'm like, it's pretty funny. You should watch it. So we watched it, and the next thing you know, now she's rewatching the Clone Wars. So every night I get to rewatch more of the Clone Wars. And I will tell you, it's a high def show, but man, they use some some low quality, I guess, palettes for a lot of that stuff, because it does not hold up when you go back and watch season 1 from 2008. I'm like, in my head, this is what Beast Wars looks like, but if I went back and watched Beast Wars, it probably looks even worse, because that was 10 years before that.
Well, shout out to Chris supporting the open source community. If you're not familiar with the TV database or TVDB out there, it's like an open source community where people kind of organize episodes of TV shows. So if you kind of have your own home theater media player experience, you can kind of cook into that database, and you can kind of like batch rename a lot of your files. So everything folds into your media center really, really nicely. So Chris let me know that he was the first person to get to that
Star Wars Detours.
Star Wars Detour. So Chris is a groundbreaking Star Wars contributor over at the TVDB.
Well,
hopefully, maybe one day it'll be a full-fledged real series, and you'll have staked your claim on that continent. You know,
I really hope so. And actually, it was the Movie DB. The TVDB is great as well. I use the Movie DB. It does that because Mike, me, we're completionists, right? So if I need to know what seasons I'm missing or episodes I've not watched yet or specials, I'm gonna go find them, and these are great resources for doing so. That has a bookmark just like Just Watch does for everything else. So I think we've had a good time here with video games and stuff like that. All week here for the holidays. So I'm gonna jump into the news here, Mike. We just recorded 2 episodes before this. One of them is the review for Wonder Woman 1984. And again, you're asking yourself, do I need to watch the other 1983 movies to get? No, I'm kidding again, Mike. I got you. You know. But no. We went ahead and talked in review. Again, as usual, all reviews, non-spoiler up front, spoilers in. We're not going to do any spoilers here for you guys. If you want to listen to that, if you watch it, it's in the feed. Go click on it. Go check that out. Mike, let's flip gears here. I'm going to have you go first. What are your thoughts? for Wonder Woman 84.
Wonder Woman 1984, spoiler free. Unfortunately, just a very middling movie, underperforming. The first Wonder Woman was like the straight A student who set the curve for all the kids in class, and now the second exam is out and they didn't do very well, right? You hope for a lot more, a lot of high expectations for this film, and I think rightfully so, because Patty Jenkins did a great job with the first film, kind of started to turn the ship around of the DCEU, and they really needed that at the time, and it was just great to finally see like a full Wonder Woman film on display. Everything just popped off really, really well in that first film, and the sequel just could not rise to the occasion. Everything just did not quite measure up, and the biggest problem for me in this film is just the plot, and that's very hard to talk about spoiler free, so all I can say is like it just seemed like people were not paying attention to the details when making this film, and ultimately it left us very frustrated. Rightfully so, because we wanted and expected so much more out of this franchise, because we really, really liked it and we really enjoyed the first film. I really loved the action set pieces in it, and not so much with the action set pieces in the second one. So I just was left wanting so much more. Some people who love hyperbole on the internet might say that this movie is like trash, it's garbage, it's awful, it's the worst thing ever. It's like, it's not a dumpster fire. It's not the worst thing that you're ever going to watch. Don't let people convince you that this is just a failure of a film, but it will leave you disappointed, unfortunately. So I think I seem to have a little bit more hope for the franchise. Chris seems to be, I guess if I'm showing his hand a little bit more nervous than me. So hopefully things can turn around and reinstill a little bit more faith in Patty Jenkins, because we know that she's moving on to do a Star Wars film, and we know we're a little bit nervous over there in general for the Star Wars community and franchise. So Wonder Woman 84, bit of a miss for me. So a little disappointing. But Chris, spoiler free, what did you think about Wonder Woman?
Yeah, I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed. If I could set Wonder Woman down and be like, Wonder Woman, this movie as a whole, be like you had a lot of ideas, you had a lot of potential, but man, you're swinging, but you're missing so much on this movie. And it's not, again, we've said the acting stands out in this. The actors, their main four, you're gonna love them. They do a great job. But when you start sitting and looking at it as a whole, there are pieces that just fail to miss. And while this movie was supposed to come out November 1st of 2019, you'd think a year and a month they'd have some time to maybe work on it a little bit and get some feedback. I just don't feel like they took any notes or any feedback into consideration here, and that's kind of sad. So overall, me and Mike, we were very, very agreeable on this. I give it a C plus B minus range. It's not the worst thing in the world, not the worst movie we've watched this year by a long shot. Look at we forgot New Mutants an hour ago, but it's not the best thing I've seen either, and that's kind of makes me a little sad, because we wanted so much more, and they had the most potential of all the DC films to take a sequel and take it to the new level for us, and we just kind of fell short a little bit, man. So that's where we are in Wonder Woman 1984. So if we want to jump into the next news for that, Wonder Woman 3 has already been confirmed for no year yet, but Warner Brothers has gone and said Patty Jenkins will write and direct this threequel. I assume she's going to be working on Cleopatra with Gal Gadot soon, then Star Wars next, so we probably won't even see Wonder Woman 3 till 2024, maybe 2025 even. So
Which is a little strange, because I think I saw the terminology of fast-tracked with this, so I don't know exactly where that came from. So, I mean, I would assume any director who's already made 2 movies in a franchise for your studio, if you get greenlit, that probably already seems like a fast-tracked, right? We've already checked all the boxes, so, just keep it going, right?
Yeah, chances are they've already, she's had, again, if we go look at this year to maybe work on it a little bit, she probably had some ideas. They're doing the Amazonian spin-off series, right, or at least movie as well. So maybe there are ideas in play. When they say fast track, they probably let's go ahead and sign it today, the same week we put out the sequel, let's go ahead and get her back for the third one. Again, Patty Jenkins famously left Thor: The Dark World, but is this her Thor: The Dark World of the Wonder Woman movies? I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, again, we've said if you may love this movie, that's perfectly fine. You may hate this movie, perfectly fine. So the best part about it is you don't have to go to the theaters to watch this. You can watch it on HBO Max here in the States. But if you are in another country that has theaters open, it is available to watch. So yeah, I think that's pretty sums it up pretty good. If you want more, go listen to the reviews. It's hard for us to repeat ourselves, twice in here.
Yeah.
On the other side of that, if you've got Disney Plus, maybe you watch Soul on Christmas Day instead. Like I did. Mike decided to wait a few days. But thankfully, Soul is not in our wheelhouse for things we normally talk about, so there's probably no spoilers on the internet for him. So that's pretty good. So for Soul, I'm going to jump off Mike with this one. Pixar's latest film, second of this year, next to Onward, to me, did not really strike all the notes, if you will. Didn't really jive with the rhythm. How many more music puns can I make here about a jazz movie?
I'm sure you could make more, but I would leave it at that.
Okay. I've been asked to stop to making the puns, but yeah, it's just there's a lot more to this that I wanted out of a Pixar film. At the end of the day, it's still not a bad movie. Wonderful production, beautifully shot. Love the voice acting, very well done. It just the music just as Mike would say, chef's kiss, right? I get my 9 Inch Nails doing some music in here, but. Yeah, there's just some beats I was wanting to maybe fill this out a little bit more, and I didn't get it. It doesn't make it a soulless ride, though. It does. It's still a fun film.
Hey, I said no more puns.
You said no more music puns. But I'm gonna leave you on that, Mike. So yeah, so that's my note. Mike, lay it on him.
Yeah, I would say I'm a little bit more positive on the experience that I watched with Soul. I had a really great time. Like I said in our spoiler review, no spoilers, of course. It's a very affecting movie. It's hard to believe somebody would watch this movie and not think about their life, at least for a little bit while they're watching it. The choices they made, where they're going, what their passions are. So I really like that I was able to watch a movie that affected me, in 2020. New Mutants is not going to do that. Tenet just confused the hell out of me. Maybe I did think a little bit about my life when I was watching Bloodshot, like, yeah, maybe this could go somewhere. I don't know, but yeah, I had a good time watching Soul. Like I say a lot with movies and movie reviews, if things are just going really, really well in most aspects of the film, if something's kind of falling short, it's really easy to look past it and have a good time. And there's just so much great about this movie that, maybe some of the smaller parts that, they could have filled out a little bit more, I had an easier time ignoring. But yeah, it's great. Like Chris said, the music is amazing. The voice acting is second to none, and I just had a great time. It's just fun. It's nice, and I don't have much else to say because, this isn't exactly like a franchise movie. This isn't going to spin off into a whole universe. I'm not saying that it needs to, but usually on this show when we're talking about these, we talk about the future of the franchise, what could happen, what director could take the helm next, where could the story go. But as it is, it's just a nice standalone experience. And if you have Disney Plus, if you've been watching The Mandalorian, like Chris said, your subscription should still hold true for a couple more days if you decided to cancel it until the next season drops. I don't know why you would. WandaVision's coming out in January, right? So there's no reason you shouldn't be watching Soul. It's a fun time, and it just like all Pixar stuff, you're gonna have a premium experience, and highly recommend Soul on my end.
Yeah, definitely not a straight to streaming movie. It was built for the theaters, and it shows. It sounds like it at the end of the day. Speaking of Disney Plus, The Mandalorian, Mike, the making of dropped on Christmas Day. Did you watch that at all by chance?
Oh, it did. I didn't know it was out already.
Yeah.
I gotta watch that.
Yeah, so it's like a 1-episode thing, I think. So, fun fact, the Dark Troopers were actually played by actors in suits with small CG touch-up on like their arms and legs and joints and stuff.
I never would have guessed that. Wow.
I know. That I was like, man, those look really good. But then I'm like, no, these were real. I'm like, that's fantastic. Just another like big win for the Mandalorian, right? Doing that. We think it's all in the volume, and it might be, but they still make it look so good and feel so good in there. But also, the Bib Fortuna actor was actually Matthew Wood, who was the actor who played him in Return of the Jedi as well.
Oh, that's great. That's a nice little feedback.
Yeah.
I should say, I don't know if this is new news or if this is a meme that maybe was floating around since season 1, but my wife let me know, because she always likes to tag me and stuff online that's nerd related, because she's lovely and wants me to know, wants me to have all the digs for the episode that we record. I guess there was a boom operator in one of the original Star Star Wars film that wore tiny little
pink
short shorts, and somebody decided to let the shorts continue on in The Mandalorian. Like I said, I don't know if it was season 1 or season 2, but I thought that was a fun little thing that even people on set are getting into the deep lore of Star Wars.
my guess is season 1, because I don't think they had a lot of people on set for season 2 if they were locked down.
That makes sense. And it wasn't in the volume. It's one of the scenes that they would have shot outside, in the elements.
Yeah, man, that's crazy to think of. I mean, Mandalorian's been great. I mean, the culture that is what the Baby Yoda phenomenon, if you will. So it's crazy. So
raise your hand if you got a Grogu for the holidays, because I gave my brother a Lego Grogu and he gave me a Funko Pop Grogu. So I got my own Grogu over here sitting on my bookshelf. I'm sure so many other people got their own little Baby Yoda because they were woefully unprepared for merchandise last year, but they were definitely prepared this year, because even my tiny little gift section at the pharmacy had this kind of really cheap looking Baby Yoda that was officially licensed merchandise. So I'm sure everybody has their own little Baby Yoda now.
We had a gift exchange at work, Secret Santa, and I gave one of mine a Baby Yoda little dude. So it's great. Everybody likes him, and he gets down. So Mandalorian season 2 is wrapped up. Get in there, watch that if you can. Next month, keep your Disney Plus subscription, because WandaVision is landing.
I'm so excited.
Yes, I just picked up some of the Funkos yesterday from the upcoming show, from the different eras. But the Disney Latino site says that the show runs from January 15th to March 5th, implying 8 episodes for the series, which they really haven't said the complete number for everybody yet. But that also gives us the potential for having MCU content almost every week this year.
Oh, give it to me. I mean, we were always waiting for this moment, right? We knew that when Disney Plus launched, it was going to be a little thin until they got to kind of its second year, and then everything got delayed a little bit more, right, because of the pandemic. But now we're finally getting into the stride of Disney Plus. I mean, look at Disney Plus stock price after they did that investor showcase. It's about to pop off in 2021. So, I mean, I don't want to sound like a corporate shill, but I mean, if you're a fan of our podcast, I feel like you almost have to have Disney Plus if you want to keep up with what we're going to be talking about moving forward.
And it's very affordable. Get it now. I think I was at I braved a Disney store this weekend, a physical outlet.
Oh
right?
My God.
They only let like 2 people in at a time, so I was very nice about that. But they actually sell Disney Plus cards behind the register. They were like, get a whole year right now for like $69.99. I'm like, that's not bad. So get it before the prices go up. Go buy your cards. That's a great Christmas present. Give someone the gift of Disney Plus. Get yourself the gift of Disney Plus. New year, new you. The other thing is for Marvel is Shang Chi. The actor Simu Liu shared like this test fight video he shot with some buddies in 2019 online, and it shows off his martial arts training and skills. He apparently did not have any training until he was cast, so all this has been learned while he was making Shang Chi, if we will, and so it's this is a really fun little video he put on Twitter and shared. I mean, did you get a chance to watch it, Mike?
Yeah, I watched it a little bit when he shared it earlier this week. So now I just opened it up to kind of refresh myself with it. But yeah, it's just fun. Simu Liu has amazing charisma, and I tell people all the time whenever we talk about Simu Liu on the show is go over to Netflix and watch Kim's Convenience. It's such a good show. It's so hilarious. Canadians make some of the best television out there.
Letterkenny.
Yeah, I mean, that's another one. I think they're both shot in the Montreal area as well. I mean, Letterkenny obviously out in the middle of nowhere, but close to Montreal. So, yeah, Simu Liu's in that show. Great charisma, great actor. He kind of gives me, like, almost like Ryan Reynolds vibes, if you will, where he has the physicality, but he also has the charm and charisma. So I think his career is only about to explode even more than it already has. So if you're not already standing for Simu Liu, you got to start standing now, or you're going to be in the back of the line. So this video, I enjoyed it.
Yeah, he's got skills. Like, this is a martial arts video through and through. Like, this isn't like, yeah, they may be pulling punches or whatever, like, but it looks good. It's quick. It's cut really well. Like, it's not like it feels like a real fight scene that you would see in a movie, right? Like maybe The Raid or one of those movies.
Yeah,
so,
it's kind of like a kinetic camera, if you will.
Yeah, so I expect to see a lot of this skill set come to life. You know, with the larger productions, you know, probably a little more things, but like I want to see his outfit. I want to see his powers. Let's see him use some glowing fists, man. Let's get this going. I'm excited to see him in Shang-Chi. Let's get a trailer. This is coming out in July. Give us the trailer, Mike.
Yeah, connect it to WandaVision or something, you know?
Exactly. Or just put it out. I don't care. Don't connect it to anything. Connect it to our lives. That's what we want. HBO Max, if you didn't have it and you haven't watched Wonder Woman 84, yeah, that's fine. But they're dropping some Cartoon Network and comic cartoon stuff this January that you're going to just need to have. There are some Cartoon Network Adult Swim originals coming to the surface, including, Mike, do you remember Ed, Edd n Eddy?
Oh, who doesn't?
Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Mm-hmm. Great.
I didn't catch these next two. Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy or Codename Kids Next Door.
Oh, those were big for sure. I wasn't quite on those boats, but I know that they're really popular.
I'm familiar with them. And then over on the Adult Swim set, 12-Ounce Mouse.
I never watched it, but I remember the art.
Oh my gosh, it was
crazy.
It was the craziest thing. I don't know about the Jellies or Tom Goes to the Mayor, but they did announce, Mike, your show Craig of the Creek. Season 2, yeah, that's a great Cartoon Network. That's a great Cartoon Network show. Tom Goes to the Mayor is great. I mean, if you like, why can't I think of the top of my head? Oh my God, the Tim and Eric Awesome Show. Same guys. It's like this crazy 2D art limited kind of animation deal. It's just really funny and silly. It's all about like Tom, who's just friends with the mayor. It's just hilarious. I've never really seen all of it. It's just kind of one of those Adult Swim experiences of cable back in the day where you caught some episodes every now and then, so you're familiar with it, but it's not like you know the whole cinematic universe of Tom Goes to the Mayor off the top of my head. I mean, this is all great. I mean, Ed, Edd n Eddy, that was an amazing show. I almost want to say underappreciated, just because I feel like it doesn't quite has the same appreciation as maybe some other classic cartoons, but I know a lot of people that did watch it really liked it. Oh yeah.
But I think the biggest news out of this, especially people that listen to our show, is the DC animated stuff that's about to drop.
Yes. Do you remember Batman the Animated Series by chance?
This little cartoon show. Another gift I got for the holidays is the autobiographical graphic novel / comic, whatever you want to call it, that Paul Dini wrote about his time in LA creating the animated series. It's just about the size of a 5-issue trade paperback, maybe a little bit shorter, but I'm really looking forward to reading that.
Oh yeah, so that whole show's coming there, and then another little ditty called Batman Beyond. And his movie, The Return of the Joker, will be on there, which I think that was an extension of Batman the Animated Series, correct me if I'm wrong. And then also, I watched the Green Lantern animated series.
Yeah,
it was like a CG one.
I had never seen that one, but didn't people that work on that one also work on some Marvel animated stuff?
I don't know. I think this was CG stuff.
No, I'm thinking of I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but either the guy that show ran it or some high up at the show also went on to work on like Avatar: The Last Airbender and Korra and some other stuff, and like The Last Dragon, or this is Bruce, Dragon Prince or something.
Yeah, this is Bruce Timm. Did some of the development on this stuff, so I could be wrong. I don't know, but I mean, I watched this. This came out, I'm pretty sure, on Cartoon Network when Clone Wars was really hitting its stride. So I was watching it with that, which felt really. I mean, it was cool to see the CG, art things on there. But yeah, I mean, they're pretty good. I'd recommend it.
These are also strategical ads as well. I mean, we're going to more than likely be getting I don't know if it's been technically confirmed or not, but we're going to be getting live action Batman Beyond at some point in time, right? I mean, why wouldn't DC mind that at some point in the future? So having the animated stuff on their streaming service is really, really good to start setting that up. And they're getting more Green Lantern stuff. Yeah. That has definitely been confirmed. So it's good to get a little bit of that into their streaming service.
And the all this is coming from DC universe. That app, I think, is shut down on Roku right now until it relaunches in this new form without any of this movie content. So, if they've got the content and you don't have to have DC Universe and you just roll it in your HBO Max, this is beautiful for us, Mike. This is what we've been waiting for.
Yeah, this is the moment to go. A lot of streaming contracts, they don't all, but a lot of them end around the end of calendar years, right? I mean, there's actually kind of this almost should be a PSA, but the Spider-Verse is leaving Netflix soon because it's a Sony property, and right now it's not slated to be streaming anywhere yet. Nobody has announced where it's going, what's happening with it, who's going to buy the streaming rights. So it's a sign to go, like, after you open up your Christmas presents, start thinking about your streaming services. What have you been watching there? Where is it going? Things are expiring right now as we speak, and they'll be changing hands.
Well, I wish it would just go to Disney Plus.
Yeah, I mean, that makes the most sense.
It wouldn't be the most sense. Let's see here. Yeah, I don't know. They've not announced. It did leave on Christmas Day, so I don't know. I don't know where it is now.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like on the open market. I don't know if they're like saying, "Hey, Disney, you should probably put this in your catalog." And maybe some of the other Spider-Man stuff, right? You can't watch Far From Home over on Disney Plus, which seems like the most logical place to watch it.
Yeah, exactly. That, I think the Hulk is also not on there. The Incredible Hulk. So,
but I don't think a lot of people
right. But if you want, but again, for a completionist like myself, I'm like, I want them all.
Yes,
like
yes.
you gotta have them all. Especially if the Abomination is coming into She-Hulk down the road. You're like, where did this guy come from? So, HBO Max getting a lot of animated stuff. This feels like 30s cartoons. Like, I grew up watching Batman animated series, Ed, Edd and Eddy, stuff like that. So like this is obviously targeted towards our audience. How does
Starz have the streaming rights for Spider-Man Far From Home? I'm looking at it, Just Watch, our favorite website. How did Disney definitely has more buying power than Starz does. How did it end up over there? Oh my God.
My guess is that it was probably a Starz had a contract with them. When I don't know if you grew up with satellite television, but like, or cable, where they had like the rent on demand kind of thing. Starz was always like on there. Like it always came there for like an HBO. Would it get something early? I don't know.
Maybe it's like a bundle package, right? Yeah, maybe Starz like 5 or 6 years ago signed a contract of like, all of your first run movies is going to be Starz exclusives for the next some years. So I don't know.
It's on Fubo as usual. Everything's on Fubo. But yeah, I don't know why that's on there. I assume once something, they sign contracts for like 10 years on those things. So yeah. So there we go. I remember we sat in on the Batman Beyond panel at Comic-Con 2019.
Yeah,
which
Hall
was great.
H. So that was fun.
That was a big deal. I typed this in wrong. I typed in Max, but I meant to type in Mad Max because we're going to be talking about the Furiosa sequel or prequel coming in 2023. They've cast Anya Taylor-Joy, who played Magic in New Mutants, as Furiosa, young Furiosa.
Yeah, or the I haven't watched Queen's Gambit yet, but I think that's the most popular thing she's in right now.
Well, she was in Split and that the sequel to Split Glass. She's done great work. Great actress. I think she'd be great in a lot of stuff. But also has Chris Hemsworth and Yahya Abdul-Mateen too, who's in Aquaman and Watchmen. So in the film as well. I think this has got a good cast. I mean, George Miller. I mean, Mad Max, I think Fury Road was I'm going to call that lightning in a bottle, my friend.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly what also came out that year, but one of my favorite movies of the year. Yeah. And surprisingly, I don't know how, Chris, but I have not watched that movie for a second time. I've only ever seen it that one time in theaters. So like, I'm going to have such a blissful joy watching that whenever I get around to it again.
So
it's like a snack that I'm refusing myself to let it eat. Like, just one day I'm going to want some chocolate. And I'm just like, it's in the back of the cupboard. It's right there. Oh my God, I'm so happy.
So Fury Road for me was actually what I tested my sound system with and my lights, because it's all sound, right? Like there's hardly any dialogue in that movie. So I think it's a great thing, and you can actually not stream it on any normal streaming service right now. Like it was a tough gig to find the 4K version, but like that 4K version was just perfect to run through there. So so I think this will be interesting to see what he does with it going backwards in time for Mad Max. So but I think the casting is just good actors here.
Good casting.
Popular movie studio MGM is looking to sell off again. They tried to sell to who tried to buy them? It's like $5 billion like 10 years ago or something like that. I think it was Sony. Sony tried to buy them for $5 billion a couple years ago. And they didn't end up going through, but now they're looking to sell again for $5.5 billion.
Yeah, I think at one point in time, if I was reading the article correctly, the CEO wanted to sell, but like they were being undervalued. They believed that they could sell for like $8 billion, and then that CEO got ousted or something like that. So I'm not really sure what all the big boardroom drama is with MGM, but MGM is the owner of a lot of big franchises.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they own quite a few, and I'm just going to go through here. The biggest one is James Bond, right? And this is the hardest one to imagine because they're technically, it's also co-produced with Eon Productions, which owns the James Bond name. So that's, they can, if they sell, whoever gets this is going to get those James Bond streaming rights. The Rocky movies, RoboCop, TV shows, The Handmaid's Tale, all Stargate content, Fargo. The shows like the MGM's got a lot of good stuff here, and I think it'd be good, but I don't want another large studio to sell to somebody else.
Yeah, I would say the biggest boon for this sale would just be the catalog. I mean, talk about a way to fill out your streaming catalog. A lot of people think like maybe Apple could possibly acquire this. Some people are saying maybe the FCC or maybe it's the FTC. I don't remember whatever governing body watches over mergers off the top of my head. Maybe it is the FTC. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm no economics expert. But some people are saying some other studios like that own like HBO Max might run into a little bit of friction trying to acquire MGM. I don't know. I'm no legal expert. I mean, if I was maybe Paramount Plus, a studio like that, I mean, I don't know if they can afford $5.5 billion, but who the hell even knows what Paramount Plus is? That they're going to need to grab some headlines, right? So this could be a big catalog for them to pick up. That would really bolster their streaming service. I mean, there's a lot of Bond fans out there, and if they want access to that catalog, I mean, even if you're like a hard-coded or like a hard like physical media or digital person, I mean, that's just a lot of movies to keep track of. I mean, that's bigger than is James Bond bigger than the MCU at this point in time? Film wise, I think they're kind of in the same.
Like one's 23
zone.
and one's 24.
Yeah, so I mean, big catalog to pick up. So yeah, that is curious, and I also wonder outside of just the catalog, does this mean that whoever buys this is going to have majority control over Bond, right? I know you said like Eon technically has the ownership of it, so whatever studios acquires it, are they going to have a little bit of insight on where Bond goes in the future, right? I mean, this would be a big new chapter for Bond.
They could,
I mean, I know we're not really
dicks. They're dicks over there.
Yeah, I mean, I know we're not really talking about Rocky or RoboCop or some of these other things because it's Bond, really. That's really the price that you're paying is getting Bond.
Yeah. Yeah, MGM also was one of the production companies on the Hobbit movies as well. So, I mean, this is like a huge library, but like, I don't want it to go anywhere else. They were bankrupt, I think, in late 2000s, for a little bit. So, or their parent company were. So like, they don't release their own movies anymore. Like they partner with people. So like, technically, I think a lot of the new movies are grouped together with other people, but like, I guess what does this mean for these? Like, do we get reboots of RoboCop and Rocky again, or like, if Eon decides to be like, yeah, whatever you want to do with it, you're funding it. Do we get new James Bonds again? What does this do to the industry as a whole? It's weird. It's weird. Like, I don't know until somebody does something about it, but I think
it's all about the catalog now.
Yeah, essentially, what do you have the rights to? What do you own, and what do you not own at the end of the day? That's what it goes with. And lastly, Mike, I saw this bit of news today, and I just had to share it with you. There's a show called The Great North coming out. I'm sure you've heard of it. The new animated series from Wendy Molyneux and Lizzie Molyneux-Loughlin, who are the Deadpool 3 writers, is debuting on January 3rd, this upcoming Sunday. And usually our show probably doesn't come out till that Monday, but like, this is the same art style as Bob's Burgers, I believe. It's got a laundry list of voice actors with the guy from Parks and Rec is like the main voice actor.
Nick Offerman.
Nick Offerman,
right?
yeah, I believe. So this looks like a fun little show here, and I didn't know it was actually from the Molyneux, so that was kind of cool bit of news here. Did you see anything on this or?
Yeah, so all of this kind of Bob's Burger stuff really stems from the Bento Box Studio, and they've been really successful lately with what they've been able to greenlight over there. Since Bob's Burgers has really taken off, it's been very easy for them to sell shows, right? I think they have a show, Paradise PD, that is maybe a Netflix exclusive. I'm not sure. I feel like they got they produce an animated series for at least every single studio or something out there. So not surprised to see that they got a new show coming out. But yeah, I didn't realize this was from the Deadpool writers, the sisters over there. So I'll look forward to checking it out. I think they it was a similar art style. I don't know if it's Bento Box, but there's one that stars Amy Poehler as a voice actor, and it's about like a family. Oh, it's called Duncanville.
Okay.
I think Duncanville might be Bento Box, or it looks a lot like it. But we only watched the first episode of that, and I wasn't jiving with it that much personally myself. But I mean, I guess if it's a similar formula, it sounds like you take a Parks and Rec actor and throw him in a Bento Box show. But yeah, maybe I'll have to check that out and kind of see if they got the chops. Because if they're working over there at Bob's Burgers, you're never really sure who exactly is writing the jokes, and it's all one big writer's room and stuff like that. But if they're running this show, yeah, this could be a possibly good indicator of the success of Deadpool 3. So yeah, it wouldn't be a bad idea to check it out.
Yeah, I mean, I think people were like, well, what do you mean Bob's Burgers humor coming to Deadpool? It's gonna suck. Well, that's not true at all. Like these people are writers. They're talented beyond just what they write for, but they know what they need to write for in that moment. So
I have really weird feelings about Bob's Burgers currently, because it's not like it's gone off the deep end or anything like that, but I feel like I enjoyed a lot of the earlier seasons of Bob's Burgers a lot more. Like I feel like I used to be a really big fan of the show. Like every Sunday, I got to watch the new episode of Bob's, but now it kind of feels like, I don't know if they're leaning into just like a formula, or the characters are just kind of almost parodies of themselves, of what they used to be. But I don't know. I don't see a lot of people out there complaining about it. So maybe it's just me. So it might be nice to watch something fresh.
Yeah. I mean, they add one new animated show a year on the Sunday animation domination block or whatever. So this is the one for that. If they feel it's good enough for Sunday nights to compete with Simpsons after 30-something years, Family Guy, and Bob's Burgers. Yeah, go for it. Let's see what they got. All right, Mike, that's our episode. A little shorter this week than usual, but that's fine. We've had 2 review episodes and a news episode. I feel like we've talked a lot more than we normally do, but it doesn't feel like it because the news is nice and short. But I just looked. It's been 3 hours. We've been on the call 3 hours and 5 minutes.
Our wives are going to be furious.
Yeah, they're just jealous. That's all. I am hungry though. It's 8:00 p.m. here. I need to eat some dinner. So I'm going to wrap up and do that. Mike, if people know what you're up to, where can they find you at?
Yeah, I'll keep it quick and snappy. You can find me at Mike Royer Design on Instagram and Twitter. You can read my webcomics at pickledcomics.com. Chris, go. It's your turn.
Find me on Instagram, Valdan87, or Twitter, Valdan, Valdan, or anywhere else you want to look me up. I don't care. If people want to know more about our episodes, or more about us, or those reviews we just said, where can they find it at?
Super simple. It's called a domain name. Do you know about it, dummy? We got a .com. It's called superheroslate.com. Go find all of our show notes. Our show notes for the entire year, 2020, for all our entire history of the show. We got it all up there. Blast from the past. Go click on a thumbnail and see what we talked about that week. Over there at superheroslate.com. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, wherever else you love to listen to find podcasts. You can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram. And you can get merch at superheroslate.com/store. We love hearing from you. What did you think about these movies that came out this holiday? Did you get any super nerdy gifts over the holiday? We love hearing about that stuff. We love hearing from you. How's your life going? We love our fans. If you want to be a super fan of this show, it's so easy to do. All you got to do is share the show with a friend, share the show with a buddy, make sure you're social distancing and wearing your mask until we're out of this nightmare that is 2020. That will assuredly continue in 2021, unfortunately. But at least we'll have WandaVision to comfort us at the beginning of the year. So,
that's right.
Yeah, it's great talking to you guys every weekend. We will be here again in the new year.
All right.
Last episode of the year. Can't hold anything back.
We cannot hold anything back at all. That's why I'm just going to end it on a good note. We'll see you next year.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget to subscribe.
Jazz, baby.
You can't hear it, but I'm doing jazz hands.